Hello, everyone, and welcome to the finale of our series, Best Motion Picture 2010. I'm Maddie.
And I'm Anna.
And today we're going to wrap up Season 1, where we talked about the nominees for Best Motion Picture of this year.
We want to take this time to thank everybody who has come along with us in this series, in this journey of watching some of the best and worst films produced or released in 2010. Thank you for watching with us and commenting, telling us all of your facts that you know and opinions. Thank you so much.
As we get into our discussion today, we're going to go in a specific order. If there's a specific topic you'd like to visit, check out the chapters below. We're going to talk about themes in story, trends in our relevancy data. We'll be revealing the winner that we believe in and also discussing marginalized persons trends from the year 2010.
So first, the worst movies of the year. The worst movie of the year.
Yes. Which I forgot what we agreed upon. I think it was between Airbender and Clash of the Titans.
Right, and I think I was like, it's Clash of the Titans because The Last Airbender had existing IP. That's why, myself included amongst the masses, really had issue with it because we were comparing it to the existing show. Now, if there was not an existing show, I still probably would have thought it was bad, but I would have been like, wow, M. Night Shyamalan really went out there and tried to do something. It fell flat as hell, but he had all of the, almost like a Jonah Hex, he had all the great ingredients, and then it just... holy crap, fell apart. Clash of the Titans, though? Yes, it already had existing IP as well, but that movie was a stinker too, and this did not improve upon the stinker, and it was one massive pile of schloss. Like, it stunk.
It was bad. While I was, mildly entertained, as we talked about in the video, I was entertained. I'm giving it a 3.
I'm giving it a 1.
The story was a little bit hard to follow.
Yeah. For being a Greek myth, it was, confusing.
A Greek myth that had gin in it for no reason.
Yeah! Oh my god, I forgot about that.
That's, the number one thing I remember about the movie. Other than the Kraken, the CGI was just abysmal. The costuming and even the performances from great performers were so weak. It was a real low point for, I'd like to argue, every person in the movie.
Yes. So that is officially the worst movie of 2010.
Yeah. And we'd like to invite Sam Worthington to come collab with us to talk about the worst movie anytime he wants to. Sam, we're so sorry.
Yeah.
With that, we're going to hard transition to talking about the good movies. First, of course, trends in story. Now, the Academy sees story in 2 categories as either Best Original Screenplay or Best Adapted Screenplay. However,
we saw 3. History, adapted fiction, and an original idea.
Interestingly enough, all the movies that were our history pieces were centered around men.
And as it needs to be said, all white men, too.
Yes.
And then the adapted fiction was True Grit, Winter's Bone, Toy Story 3. They kind of had more of an ensemble-y feel.
Yes.
Especially with Toy Story. Blah.
Oh, yeah.
True Grit is definitely at least a duo, but then you add LaBeouf and you add...
Josh Brolin's character, I don't remember what his name is.
He's Tom Chaney!
With Winter's Bone, her whole extended family.
They got riled up.
Get off my property, I'm not helping you, child.
They were more realized worlds, I'll say.
Yes, I would agree with that. Toy Story 3, I feel is an outlier.
It doesn't really fit in, and I kind of think it's BS that it was nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay because it was based on existing characters. The original stories we had, though, I think one of them had the most immersive of it all, which was Inception, which was truly a completely unique experience.
Oh, wait. These adapted ones with the True Grit and the Winter's Bone. Father figure, daughter figure.
There were a lot of stories about family this year. There was, there's those dynamics in those 2. We had The Kids Are All Right. We had The Fighter.
Mm-hmm. But they were, definitely the duo, and then they grew a little bit. Whereas The Kids Are All Right in Inception, they're about, a crew.
Yes.
That's a true ensemble.
Black Swan, our final original one, not necessarily the case.
Yeah.
In 2010, Best Motion Picture, as we discussed, went to The King's Speech. It also won Best Director and Best Original Screenplay. Best Adapted Screenplay ended up going to The Social Network for its basis on The Accidental Billionaires. The King's Speech was nominated for 12 awards, I believe, followed by Inception, which was nominated for 8. When we talked about this, when we did our data, when we did our scores, almost all of them got a 4 or higher, which is why I didn't bother to compare that data.
Oh, yeah. Because, of course, they were a 4 or higher, or else they wouldn't have been nominated for an Academy Award. There is a certain level of artistry, if you will. If it's nominated for almost any Academy Award, it's gonna look good.
We ended up inadvertently talking about Alice in Wonderland, which got a couple nominations for its art direction. I did not watch that one with headphones on my iPad, as it was intended to be, but I bet the sound mixing was good too, like you said in True Grit, or I said in Black Swan. They are art pieces like that. Our lowest art score did go to 127 hours, and with that, I think it's time to discuss the trends we found in our data and the relevancy of these movies then and now. As you'll see from this double bar graph below, we've compared our cumulative scores from the 2010 score that we gave and its relevancy to the 2021 score. All the films we have listed have a score of 4 or above, meaning that it was good to great relevancy at the time.
And then compared to the 2021 relevancy scores, only 3 of those films, as you see, stayed relevant, and that was The Social Network, Toy Story 3, and Inception.
Oh, and that's why I briefly shit on The King's Speech, because it's
it didn't stay relevant at all.
I know I said this in the video, but it's like, granted, I'm not British.
It could never be me, I'm not British. Sorry about it.
It's a period piece that had a cute little to it with the stuttering, and I just don't think that those stand the test of time. The King's Speech did not stay relevant, and that's why we are not picking it for the Best Motion Picture of 2010.
Correct. As film that has a legacy and a relevancy 10 years down the line is probably going to continue to have that legacy and relevancy, and people are going to revisit it and love it, and it will be a classic that people will watch for ages. So that's why we're not giving it to The King's Speech.
Yeah.
Because it went away.
Yes. And the final reveal of the movie we decided did not go away, stood the test of time, is a true piece of art that we love and worship, is Inception. We decided to give Best Motion Picture to Inception, and would you like to tell them why?
Videoception. That is something that is still continuously referenced, quoted, watched. It's just never left us. It's never left us.
Nope.
Was there anything? No, okay, I was like, was there anything specific we should have?
No, we knew that we didn't have to go off about this, so the card says nothing. Inception is a great piece of art. The performances are incredible. The cinematography, the direction, the story itself.
The story. When it comes down to it, a movie is a story. Film is storytelling. That is a story that people love and sticks with them. And that's why it's the best motion picture of 2010.
Hell yeah. Finally, one of the last things we want to talk about is, of course, something we discuss in every video and is, again, a huge part of why we wanted to do this series. We wanted to talk about how there's not necessarily a lot of representation in the Best Motion Picture of the Year. And there, at least for many, probably for every year until I'd like to argue Moonlight won.
I think the American culture in particular started to sort of shift back in like 2014 with Ferguson and things. People still didn't actually do anything, like put their money where their mouth was.
Oh, yeah.
And that definitely, I think, if Moonlight hadn't won, like, no way Parasite would have won.
Yeah.
And Parasite is one of the best movies I think I've ever seen, period. It's incredible. So, yeah, but
there are no black people in any of the movies we watched. In these movies, there were 3 speaking black people. In The Social Network, we had Erica Albright's friend who has no name. In True Grit, we had one of Madi's servants who speaks. And in Toy Story 3, Whoopi Goldberg plays an octopus with about 3 lines. And those were the black people.
in the Oscar-nominated Best Picture nomination.
We even argued about it in the episodes. By argued, I mean we're like, well, they had this person who was from this ethnicity, and we had this and this, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, there were no dark-skinned people in any of the movies we watched.
No.
Another problem we'll talk about is the actual whitewashing that also took place this year, which was in 3 separate films we talked about, one of them being a Best Picture nominee. You were shook that Max Minghella is Italian mostly.
Wait. The actor is white?
We also had Taylor Lautner, of course, playing Jacob Black in Eclipse, and then most of the cast for The Last Airbender.
Of the Water Tribe people.
Right.
Just,
Whitewashing gotta end. One plus we did notice about the trends this year is there are some gay stories out there. There was a lot of lesbians in this year. We, of course, had the lesbians and the kids are all right.
And then there was also lesbianism in Black Swan a little bit, and Eat, Pray, Love, but like that was like...
It was the Manson family disclosure.
Right. Like IRL.
Yes.
But it wasn't in the movie.
No.
I mean, also in Winter's Bone, there was lesbianism.
That was in the book.
Winked at in the book.
But before we get too off topic, as we are one to do...
Oh man, this is a tangent.
I think it's my turn to say thank you so much for joining us. Oh my god. Stop. It's not stopping. Thank you so much for joining us for our very first season of Best Motion Picture. If you disagree with what we've discussed throughout the season or just today, comment why below.
Like or dislike and share it with somebody who you watched Inception with and say Videoception. Okay? It's that simple, folks.
If you liked what we had to talk about, we will come back in a bit for season 2.
In 2011, baby!
2011, and the biggest change we are going to make in season 2 is no more stinkers.
Thank God. Or at least no more official stinkers. Other than that, that's it.
I am Alexander Pierce.
And I am not LaBeef.
Bye.
I couldn't remember the other thing I was supposed to say.